Once again, it's me, Resurrect from Resurrect the N.O.C. You still talking about this ear stretching, alright? You're gonna go through it, right? So you already weighed the pros and cons, you did a ton of research online, you talked to piercers, you came up with the decision that I'm stretching my ears. It is what it is. I don't, and that's what it's gonna be. Here we go. You already decided, let's go forward now, right? First thing you gotta know, in all your research, you must have ran across this. It's gonna take a little bit of time, right? So don't rush the process. For me personally, because people ask me, it took me about 10 years to get to where I'm at. I'm at about an inch and 8. I'm probably gonna go to an inch and 4. It took me about 10 years. And I know everybody was like, oh, it doesn't take 10 years to do this. People that immediately was like, oh, I'm turning this video off. It doesn't take no 10 years. He doesn't know what he's talking about. It doesn't take 10 years, all right? Only the way I did it was, I got to one size. First, I was like, I'm gonna go to a 4 gauge. Then I got to the 4. I was like, that's it. I'm not going no bigger. Then I seen somebody with a 0, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just go to 0. Then I'm done. I'm not stretching no more. I'm done. I'm not gonna stretch my ears no more. I'm finished. And I seen a 0. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go to 0, and then I'm finished. I am not stretching my ears no more. And then I just literally kept going through that process. Like every 2 years, every like maybe year, maybe 6 months, maybe. So every time I would be at a gauge, a certain size, and gauges are just sizes, right? At a certain size for like 6 months, 8 months, maybe a year, and I would just stay there for a little bit before I went forward, right? So that's kind of how I got to where I'm at, right? It's a real slow process. I'm glad it took a long time. My ears are pretty healthy. Right. So now that you're gonna stretch it, right? Now that you're gonna stretch your ears, you're gonna need a couple tools, right? Now I'm talking about the long haul, right? I'm not talking about the I just decided maybe I'm gonna test it out. Like I'm not talking about necessarily if you're just gonna go from a 16 to a 14 and out, that's it, right? Because you might not need all these tools, right? So you might not need this. I'm talking about my people that's like, yo, I'm going from right here to an inch. I'm going from, I don't even got my ears pierced to an inch, and I'm gonna be doing this for the next 2-3 years, and I already got it mapped out. I'm talking about a long haulers, right? So you're gonna need a couple tools, right? So that's what we're gonna go over right now. So first and foremost, you're gonna need a tape. Right? Well, actually, let me slow down. First and foremost, you need to have your ears pierced. All right? If you don't have your ears pierced, turn this video off right now and go do that. All right? I'm gonna wait. Let me be right here. Pause it. Actually, just pause it so you see me on your face, on your screen. Like, come on, son. Get your ears pierced. All right? Go get your ears pierced. Come back and see. All right? Simple. All right? Second, you're gonna need a tape. At some point, especially when you're coming from a smaller size, from like a 16, 14, 12, in that range, you're gonna need a tape. Alright? The taper is just it. Taper simple. Right here. Starts off real small, goes to a real bigger size. Alright? The taper is like a car. Right? Think of a taper as like your whip right here, right? So it's just gonna take you from where you're at to where you wanna be in a direct route, alright? So by the time this taper gets to the other side, you're there. You're there. If you had a 12, if you had a 12 and you wanna go to a 10, 12 on one side, 10 on the other side, boom, you're there. Simple, right? Tape, you're gonna need a taper, right? Second off, if you're a bigger size, right? So say you're a little bit bigger, right? Say you're around the 00 and maybe a little bit bigger than that, alright? You're gonna need some Teflon tape, right? This is Teflon tape. It's real cheap, real cheap. Everybody see that? Teflon tape, nice and thin, real flimsy, real nice, alright? What Teflon tape is you can wrap. You're gonna be able to wrap your jewelry, right? This saves a ton of money. You don't know how much money I've wasted just buying new jewelry every time I wanted to do something different, right? I just wasted money for no reason, right? So this is gonna save you a ton of money, right? So every time instead of getting new jewelry, you'll just add another wrap to it, add another wrap. Teflon tape is more like a bus pass, all right? So it's gonna get you to where you wanna go. It's just a little slower, you know what I'm saying? It's like a roundabout way to get there, but it's real safe, man. Not a lot of bad happens when you go through Teflon tape, all right? When you do the Teflon tape, you're gonna wanna have a set of these. Set of calipers, right? So the calipers are to make sure that you know what size you are. So when you do this, you just put them right into the calipers, and you can see like how big that is. You know what I'm saying? So you know exactly what gauge you're at. You know exactly what size you're at, what the measurements are. So you don't have to go, so you don't undershoot it or you don't overshoot it, right? So if I want to go from like, say I want to go from a 1/2 inch to like, 5/8, something like that, right? I want to make sure I get the 5/8 before I start putting that other jewelry in. You know I want to make sure I get there, all right? And you don't want to undershoot that, because then when you try to put the other jewelry in, it's not going to fit. You're going to wind up with blowouts. It's just going to be more painful than anything, right? Next, you're going to need that jewelry, right? You're going to need that next size of whatever you're going to go to. Right, so you need, if you're at a 12 going to a 16, you're at a 12, you're going to a 10, you're gonna need a 10. You're gonna need some type of single flared, no double flare stuff, just single flared, internally threaded, right? So you don't want no threads on the outside to rip your ear out when you try to push it in or pull it out, right? You don't want that. It's just gonna cause you more pain than good, right? Internally threaded or just single flared and no threads at all. So it'll just be an O-ring like how these are on the back, where it's just an O-ring holding it. That's it. That's all you want. Real simple, right? Gonna need that jewelry. Next is like the most important thing. You're gonna need some type of lube, man. You know, you can't be trying to stick it all up in the hole and not just. Nah, you probably don't say it like that. Okay, cool. But you're gonna need some type of lube, man. You're gonna need some type of lube. You could use jojoba oil. You know what I'm saying? You could use that. You could use vitamin E. You could use cocoa butter. You could use whatever you want to. There's no specific thing that you have to use. You just don't want to use. You want to use anything that's water-based, right? You don't want to use anything with some type of Vaseline-based or anything like that. Like you don't want to have it, man. That all that stuff just clogs your pores, man. It just makes it even harder. It's gonna take longer for it to heal up. You want something water-based, simple, right? Next, you might need some sea salt. You're gonna want to have some sea salt. All right, the sea salt is gonna be for the soaks. Right, you're gonna fill up a cup with some water, maybe some warm water, put like a teaspoon of sea salt in it, 8 ounces of water, flop your air right in there, let it soak, man. All right, just get it comfortable. Right, this helps to flush it out. This helps to reduce some of the swelling, and not to mention, most importantly, it just feels good. Right, it just feels really good. Right. If that doesn't work, you might run across, you need some of this saline solution. Right? I don't know if you see that. Right, saline solution is an antiseptic. Right, so antiseptics, what they do is they make sure that microorganisms, those stuff that causes like all kinds of irritations and infections and things like that, they won't be able to grow. Right, it helps draw that out. It makes it so that you can't grow so much. You know what I'm saying? Only problem with antiseptics, you can't use them all the time because some bacteria is good. There's a lot of good bacteria that helps skin replenish itself, right? So you don't want to go too far. You don't want to go too crazy, right? Simple, right? When you're using this, you're gonna need these. Either some unscented baby wipes. That's what I like to use. Either unscented baby wipes or maybe like some sterilized gauze, right? And I'll show you how to use this, but you're gonna wind up wrapping it around your ear and saline soak it down and all that good stuff, and just leave it there all night, right? Simple stuff, right? So basically, that's all you really need to start off with, right? That's a lot of stuff, I know. But my long haulers, once again, if you just starting off, if you're not really gonna go super far with it, you don't need all of that, all right? You do not need all of this. You don't even go out and buy all that. It's just a waste of money. You don't need all that. But if you plan on going for a while, you're gonna go for the stretch, you're gonna need some of that. This is all stuff that is gonna come in handy, all right? Not to mention some antibacterial soap, all right? This ain't for your ears. This is for your jewelry. This is to clean your jewelry after you start stretching, because it's gonna be some gunk. It's gonna be depending on how hard you stretch. Because I know some people, some people go really light. Depends on how fast you're trying to go. You know what I'm saying? You might get a little bit of gunk like dead skin and all that stuff, and you want to be able to clean your jewelry. You don't want to go to where you see blood. This isn't to clean blood off your jewelry, all right? You don't want to do that, right? You see blood, you don't went too far. You get fucked up, all right? So you want to go far enough to where you got it, a little tightness, but you're good. You can deal with it, right? Simple. All right, so those are the tools that you're gonna need. We're gonna come back with how to use these tools. Simple, easy. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and if you're watching this, you should know I'm on YouTube. Let's get it going. Website too, man. Reznoc.com.
It takes 5 minutes to get it, 5 minutes to bring it back. So how the hell did 2 hours pass by? Something's going on. Something is going on. I can feel it in my bones. She tried to say I'm crazy. I think something's going on.